Today we're tying the Pale Morning Dun Euro Nymph, and this is kind of a soft hackle slash emerger pattern that I developed, and I tie this on a Fulling Mill 5067 Czech nymph hook, and it is barbless, and I'm using a 3/32 gold bead with 5 or so wraps of 0.015 lead wire. I tie this with or without the lead wraps. I have both varieties in my box for various situations that I might encounter on a stream. And I'm using 12/0 red thread, and this is a size 18 pattern. I tie this sometimes on size 14s, as big as 14s, and sometimes as small as 20s. But the size 18 is pretty much my general all-around pattern that I like to use. For the tail, we're using brown Z-Lon, and you see I do like to label my materials sometimes, especially if it's out of a package, because sometimes you get a lot of this Z-Lon. There's a bunch of different shades, and it's easy to forget exactly what shade that color is. It comes in a pretty thick cord of material there, and we're just going to separate some of that and use about probably 1/3 or 1/4 of that actual diameter. You can twist this stuff a little bit to make it a little easier to tie in, but I'm going to tie it in so at the ends there, but right up against our lead wraps. Take out all the way to the bend of the hook, even just pretty far down there. You want an emerger pattern, you want the accent, the curve of the body. And I'm going to trim that nymphal shuck probably about 1.5 hook gaps in length. Next, we're going to use some gold ultra wire for ribbing. Tie in a strand of that. For the body, we're using dyed yellow pheasant tail. And it's not a drastic yellow. It's not a huge difference between the natural pheasant tail, but on the finished product, I mean, you'll definitely notice side by side that it has a little bit of a yellowish hue to it. We're going to tie about 4 or 5 fibers in by the tips. Now as we wrap these forward, make our touching wraps, I'm going to twist it slightly so that those fibers all kind of stay together rather than splay as I'm wrapping up that hook. And with each turn, I'm twisting them about a half turn. So we're secure. Now we're going to counter wrap with our gold ribbon wire. I'm going to use some CDC in dun color, and I'm just going to grab this by the tip. I'm going to stroke these feathers backwards just to reveal a little bit of a corner there, a triangle you'll call it, and we're going to cut it off, leave just a little tag, and that'll just provide a little point for us to grab with our thread. Once we have our CDC tied in, we're going to grab the end of it there, the butt section, with our hackle pliers, and we're just going to stroke some of these fibers rearward as we wrap that feather. Now this is very brittle stuff, so try not to put too much tension on it. It's very easy to break that stem. But I'm just going to go back. Secure that. Trim. I'm going to stroke all these fibers back here. Just tie it down real good. I may as well just break off a few of these now. Some of the longer pieces. This is a size 18 after all. It doesn't need to be that long. There we go. Now for the thorax, I'm going to use some beaver dubbing. I like this stuff. It's real good, real nice. It has some spiky guard hairs in it yet, and this particular color is pale morning dun. And I'm just gonna pull a couple of the longer guard hairs, the more coarse stuff, out, and leave some of it in, and just make a real fine dubbing noodle. Make a few wraps. Finish up with a thread hotspot there. Once we have that in place, we can whip finish. And there you go. There's our PMD Pale Morning Dun CDC Euro Nymph. I tie this up sometimes as large as size 14, all the way down to 20, and it has worked really well for me. Catch you next time.